What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy right here, man. MMA Reloaded. We are live and direct for another episode of MMA Reloaded, episode 39 of MMA Reloaded on the mic. I had to add the on the mic in there, folks. But yeah, folks, thank you so much for joining me wherever you're joining me from. It is great to be back live and direct. So, folks, today, as we reach fight week towards Cage Steel 26, um, you know, I have to, get this underway so you know and you get to know the athletes who will be competing at Cage Steel 26 this Saturday or next Saturday night, I should say, in the Doncaster Dome. You can still get your tickets for Cage Steel 26. All you have to do is just click the link in MMA in the bio, folks, on our Instagram, MMA Reloaded, and you can seal your seat to be a part of history. Of course, with COVID and stuff like that, restricting events and restricting attendance, Cage Steel 26 is allowing fans to be there, folks, and witness the action, once again, and start enjoying it. So, folks, of course, it's a revolutionary time. It's a great experience. It's a great time to be out of those restrictions, and so it's a great time to start attending events again. So today, folks, as we count down fight week, I sit with Matty Byfield, who will be competing at Cage Steel 26, folks, in one of the most anticipated fights on the card against AVT's own Lewis Tams. Now, folks, Matty Byfield is representing Team Renegade, of course, the home of Fabian and Leon Edwards, and of course, Aiden Lee, Jake Hasley, the whole, Jai Herbert. They've all been there at Team Renegade and still are there. So Matty Byfield comes out of that, out of such an esteemed camp. It's unbelievable. So, folks, we sit with Matty. He's 2-0 right now, folks, in a professional career, 5-2 as an amateur. So we will touch on that. We will touch on how it starts. There's so much more, folks. You know how we do business out here, man. We get down and we get down to business. Sort of probe the mind of the fighter. That's what it's all about right now, man. It's all about, question. It's just finding the right answers to that, and then sort of working around. That's what it's all about. So folks, here today, Matty Byfield. What a show it's going to be. Thank you for tuning in. You know, it's an interesting time right now in MMA. Of course, PFL, the PFL playoffs just kicked off, folks, with PFL 7 and the welterweights and lightweights. We determined the playoff. We determined the finalists for the welterweight and lightweight division. Where welterweights, Ray Cooper the third, who will be making his third appearance in the finals. But of course, last season had the classic with David Michaud, where he became PFL welterweight champion. So he's coming into the finals once again, folks, to defend his title. And he will be taking on the man who he lost to. His last loss in PFL was to this man, Magomed Karimov. Now, in 2018, folks, when PFL was just getting off the ground, Magomed Karimov and Ray Cooper III went one-on-one in the finals of the tournament. And Karimov beat Ray Cooper, So I guess it's where, 3 years later now we're going to be running it back. And at lightweight, folks, it's going to be a real interesting bout with Raush Manfio taking his spot in the finals. And this was a real interesting story because Raush Manfio was an alternate originally, He was an alternate. So you don't really expect an alternate to come in the finals because he's just there to replace whoever whoever the original combatant was at the time. Yeah, but due to I would say like a long-standing injury or whatever it may have been, Raul Manfio gets his opportunity. Um, it's one of those things where I'm so happy for him because he's such a passionate guy and he trained and has trained with some of the best in the world, and it is so fulfilling to see a guy like Raul really come into his own in mixed martial arts. A former Titan FC champion and now PFL. He has a chance to actually go on the big stage now at PFL and win the lightweight championship. It's an amazing journey for Raul Manfio. So folks, when I think I'm not sure who Raul is facing. We just gotta check that out. PFL 2021. Yeah, boy. Hold up, folks, because I kind of forgot who the other lightweight semi-final was supposed to be with. Yes. He takes on Loic Radzhabov. Now, Loic Radzhabov, folks, is another interesting story in this 2021 season because he actually lost his opening fight to the man he beat in the semi-finals a couple of days ago, Alexander Martinez. So, he lost via a very controversial decision, but controversial decisions can always be erased, man. If you rerun and run that shit back with the guy who beat you. So, you got to run him. That's all about, So, Loic Radzhabov takes on Raul Manfio, two very powerful guys. Radzhabov is a very, very powerful fighter. You saw him just with Radzhabov and Manfio, it's going to be a push the pace type matchup. I'm actually looking forward to this final, man, because I don't know if you guys remember last year, a couple of years ago, the 2019 final between Ray Cooper III and David. The 2019 finals were taking place at Madison Square Garden on New Year's Eve. Okay, so so folks, if PFL have that same environment again, where New Year's Eve and Madison Square Garden are the venues, it's just the icing on the cake for fans because after COVID and after lockdown, and with that threat still there, to be able to have Madison Square Garden as a venue, to be able to hold your final there, your finale there, it is just going to be the icing on the cake. Fans are going to love to watch it. I know I am definitely going to love to watch it. but yeah, folks, it's going to be a great finale. Of course, Ray Cooper III now meets Magomed Karimov, and Raul Manfio meets Loic Radzhabov. So, folks, and of course, Bellator 264 was this past weekend, was yesterday night, and with Bellator 264, was Friday night. Sorry, I'm just gonna say this. Okay, I'm being for real. It was a great night of fights. I'm gonna say that. With Bellator, you kind of look at the main card, and that's where the notable names compete. Yeah, that's where that's really the part of the Bellator event you want to watch. Is the main card, but then you see their undercard, and you're like, okay, shit, who's this? Okay, crap, he's 2-3 in his career. He's 1-0 only, or he's just making his debut. Why would you even put him on a Bellator card? But these guys who actually do go and compete on the Bellator undercard, it's like a regional promotion like CFFC or Titan or one of the smaller promotions where they showcase these standouts and they showcase these young fighters, So I guess that's what Bellator are trying to do, as well as trying to be, the biggest, one of the biggest promotions in the world. Bellator also trying to, you know, have that reputation as if you want an opportunity, you can come through. You know, but I guess it works both ways. You know, you can't really put a finger on it at the end of the day. So yeah, folks, you know, Bellator 264, Gegard Mousasi makes his first official defense of the UFC of the Bellator middleweight championship. He went against Douglas Lima for the welterweight title in his last fight and defeated him. So, you know, he comes in this one, his first defense of the middleweight title, winning it vacant. He won the big vacant middleweight title against Douglas Lima last time out. Of course, his last loss was against Rafael Lovato Jr., a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu legend, a man who beat Gegard Mousasi to become the Bellator middleweight champion. Gegard comes into his first defense against John Salter and just does a business, you know, against a tough veteran like Salter, and to just dispose of him like that. With fighters like Gegard Mousasi, and I can sort of name a few like Randy Couture, when Randy Couture came back and became heavyweight champion, or when you know, I can name, you know, or like when George St. Pierre came back and became UFC middleweight champion, or when, you know, Rampage came back at Bellator in the Grand Prix in the earlier tournament, heavyweight tournament, and disposed of the guys, you know, to meet King Mo in the final. That, you know, those types of comebacks, it's really up to the fighter. You know, you can't really you know, you can't really put an opinion forward for that, because you don't really know. I mean, as a fan, you know, you're not there directly with the fighter to really, you know, to really give an opinion on how they feel. You know, shit, are you ready for a return? Oh my God, you're 42 years old. It's up to the fighter, and it's up to the fighter to really understand how, you know, if the time is right. And so Gegard Mousasi, bro, this guy's timeless. He is literally timeless. His striking is just as good as ever. His grappling, his submissions, he is literally still in his, like, there is no such thing as prime or no prime for Gegard Mousasi. One of the most underrated legends out there. Over 60 fights. The guy's a literal beast in the cage. So, folks, before I continue on with Bellator 264, because I want to talk about Raufeon Stots and I want to talk about the bantamweight division, I'm going to just do the particulars, folks, with Matty Byfield, who will join me here today on episode 39 of MMA Reloaded on the mic. So stay tuned, folks. I'm not going nowhere. You know, keep your videos on. Go get yourselves a drink or something in it, because I'll be back in the gym. You know, what's going on? Welcome back, folks. I mean, continuing just on my breakdown post of Bellator 264, you know, the other performance which really stood out and had to have stood out to people was Raufeon Stots. Now, Raufeon Stots, folks, you know, of course, with his teammate Rufus Fort, Sergio Pettis being the Bellator Bantamweight champion, you know, it's becoming increasingly difficult for him to probably, you know, make a decision on whether he should face Sergio for the belt. You know, because if you look at his folks here, Rafian continues to defy the odds. He continues to beat high quality, top ranked, top 4, 3, 2 ranked opponents. And that automatically, if you're a promoter, that would be your fight with Sergio Pettis versus Rafian Start. But of course, as a teammate and a long-time teammate at Rufus Sport, it's a very hard decision to make. It is. It's a very hard decision to make for a fighter to really, see, do I want to fight Sergio? Even though it is for the title, he's still one of my friends. Do I want to fight him? Maybe not. So I was, I was very, very interested in the fight where, maybe Magomedov could, he was literally one of the best as well. 16-1, I think Magomedov was coming into a fight with Rafian Starts. And you could really see that Dagestani grappling, it didn't work on Rafian Starts. Yeah, bro. It didn't work because Rafian Starts is so good. It is unbelievable. He employs that sort of natural athleticism in his wrestling and in that style that when you're facing him, it's hard to really get grip on his timing with Rafian Starts. And whether he wants to strike with you or whether he wants to take you down, he'll do it, man. He'll do it. It's not with Rafian Starts. It's not a difficult time for him at all, man. But in the Bellator, in the bantamweight division, in any division, man, if your teammate is a champion, I would say it's a lot harder. It's a lot more difficult to make a decision on whether or not you want to, face them or not. It's hard. It is a very hard decision. Despite what people might think, there is a thought process that goes within it, but there are, if you're in a competitive division, you can really hold it off, while you make your decision on whether or not, yeah, all right, cool, Sergio Ciampa want to face him. You can always, find contenders to fight. You can always find fights. Competitive divisions, you never run out of fights whilst the promoters decide what to do in terms of number one contenders. Now, Scott Coker says that he will make a Bellator Grand Prix in a bantamweight division. There will be a bantamweight Grand Prix, and you got to have Rafian Starts in there. Yeah, there's going to be. Okay, if I look at who the top ranked Bellator bantamweights are. Yeah, so you have Juan Archuleta, who's going to be in there. Okay, Patty Mix, Rafian Starts. Okay, you got who else you got up in there? There's got to be Leandro Higo. Okay, James Gallagher. I would put Jonel Lugo in there too. I would say I would wait for the Jonel Lugo versus Keith Lee fight to finish. See, but I would actually make a 10-man, or I would only put the top 4 contenders in that tournament. Really, to be fair, if you're gonna make a Grand Prix, yeah, you got to make it fair, man. I mean, with Magomedov losing to Rafian Starts, would you actually, still consider him for contendership? Maybe you wouldn't. It's not it's a hard decision, a hard pill to really swallow at the end of the day when you're a promoter and deciding who to put into a number one contenders Grand Prix. So, folks, as I mentioned earlier, Matty Byfield, who trains out of Team Renegade, will be coming on a show, folks, in a few moments. Of course, training at Team Renegade with Leon Edwards and Fabian Edwards, Aiden Lee, Jake Hadley. Those lights are crazy. And of course, he will compete against Lewis Tams at Cage Steel 26 in one of the most, I would say, anticipated, if not the most anticipated fight on the card because of who they are as fighters and the reputation. So, of course, folks, and Matty will be on a show. And of course, yeah, man, it's just a great time to be a fan. If you haven't got your tickets yet for KCO 26, I would say get them. It's a great show. It's gonna be a great show. There's no doubt about it. And you know what, folks? Yeah, man. It's of course of course the UFC is gonna be back this Saturday night with Jared Cannonier and Kelvin Gastelum. I'll say that is a very, very interesting fight to make. And with Jared Cannonier, I'd say, it Israel Adesanya's next championship shot or next championship contender. If Robert Whitaker, if that fight with Whitaker actually gets made this time round, the rematch, yeah, I would love to see it. You know what I mean? I would love to see it, and I would love to see the winner with Jared Cannonier being number 3 ranked. I would love to see Jared Cannonier against Paulo Costa. I'd love to see Jared Cannonier go off with what's his face with Marvin Vettori, or someone really top ranked to actually see if Jared is ready to for a championship shot after losing to Robert Whitaker. Kelvin Gastelum. For me, I'm a big fan of Kelvin. When he's on point, Kelvin Gastelum is pretty much one of the best fighters in the world. Fast hands, fast boxing, world class wrestling. He can neutralize the best of the best when he wants to, and then you can really put an argument in where Kelvin Gastelum, if he beats Jared Cannonier, how far do you actually skyrocket him up in the rankings? Do you skyrocket him to the top 5 because he beat the number 3 guy? I would say yeah. I would say skyrocket him to the point where he's facing someone like Jack Manson again. Jack Manson next. I would say it's a real tough fight for anybody. I'd say Jack Manson right now is in the middle of the card, or make him face someone like the winner of Derek Brunson and Darren Till. That would be a good fight. I mean, Darren Till versus Kelvin Gastelum would be a great fight. Brunson versus Gastelum would be a grinder, bro. There would be excellent fights, either one of them. So the middleweight division continues to evolve. I'm looking forward to seeing Paulo Costa return. I'm looking forward to seeing Kevin Holland return and seeing really what Kevin Holland's going to bring to the show. Next time he fights. It's a very interesting division because you have characters from top to bottom. And it's just a division where you just want to wait and see. You want to wait and see what happens. You want to wait and see if you want to wait and see if Darren Till beats Derek Brunson, how far do you push Darren Till? If Kevin Holland, who do you match up Kevin Holland with next? I would say Jack Manson. I would say, go for an opponent that will test Holland, but not as highly ranked. I would say, if I pull up the rankings, I would say, someone like, Holland's at number 14. So I'll say someone like Brad Tavares. Brad's on form right now, man. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Brad is on form. Brad would be a great test for Kevin Holland. It would be a show-stealing matchup. Or I would say put Kevin Holland against Edmund Shahbazyan, Uriah Hall, any one of those guys. I would love to see Sean Strickland already has been matched up with Luke Rockhold. So that's going to be a great fight. It's going to be interesting to see what matchups they do make lower down the division. You still got Andre Nunez down there, who defeated Jacare Souza to retire the alligator from MMA. If that isn't a big enough win to scream, I want a bigger fight, I don't know what is. Who knows, man? Who knows what the UFC are thinking? Who knows? Anything can happen right now, man, in combat sports. Also, folks, in the world of boxing, before before Matty Byfield joined us, also in the world of boxing, you also got the card with Oscar De La Hoya and Vitor Belfort. You Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz on there. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Nostalgically, it is a beautiful fight to watch. Obviously, right? They're two legends, so it is a great fight. Um, we also got David Haye. Like, bro, if for those fans who aren't familiar with David Haye, he's a former heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. At one time, was one of the best pound for pound boxers in the world. And of course, due to I guess age and miles, I guess taking a lot of shots, Haye, started to lose it a lot. He started to lose his groove and didn't really feel um didn't really feel it anymore. You know, for David Haye now returning at 41 years old and expressing his concerns about his health, mental health, physical health. He meets 9-0 Joe Fournier, and Joe Fournier is very familiar with David Haye. They are business partners apparently. If we pull up Joe Fournier, I'm not really familiar with the name. So if we pull him up and we see who Joe Fournier is. Yeah, Joe Fournier is a fitness entrepreneur. For for David Haye, who's a former British boxing heavyweight champion, I would not really, you want to call that a comeback in the ring and on a card like De La Hoya and Belfort. I'd say it's a light comeback um it's a light one for David Haye, man. But Joe Fournier is 9-0, 9-0. Yeah, folks. He last defeated. You lot will never believe this. He last defeated Raycon El Lida, who is a reggaeton performer from Colombia. What in the living hell? Yeah. So what is this? A celebrity boxing fight, right? And of course, mostly he's competing in the Dominican Republic. Um, has Joe Fournier. So yeah, I would say it's a pretty light one uh, for David Haye, folks. So, folks, as we roll on, and of course the show is ongoing, and we are live and direct, getting ready for episode 39 of MMA Reloaded on the mic with Matty Byfield, who will be competing at Cage Steel 26 once again, folks. Thanks for joining me. If you are still tuned in, I've just been breaking down Bellator. I've been breaking down PFL. If you just tuned in, I've been, till now, I've been breaking down the rankings, Bellator ranking, the possibilities, the whole joint, really, man. It's I'll tell you, it's at this point, it is probably you have to have 3-4 screens in front of you, 3-4 phones in front of you, yeah, to actually keep up with all the action. It is crazy. It is literally nuts, yeah, folks. And there is so much more craziness yet to come here on MMA Reloaded. Out there at the UFC, at Bellator, at PFL, at ONE FC, at Titan, at CFFC, CFFC 100. I want to say, of course, commiserations to my guys, Jose Perez. If you guys watch CFFC, it's one of the best, if not the best, regional promotion out there. Yeah, standout promotion out there in the state. Getting the brightest standouts, not only from Pennsylvania but from Jersey, all over the states, getting the brightest standouts, amateur and professional, to go one-on-one, and the fights, they rarely disappoint. Rarely disappoint, man. Of course, commentary done by John Morgan and CM Punk. it's a promotion which just caught my eye. You know, the standouts there are they are reputable standouts. You know, most of the guys from TFFC like Chris Moutinho or Christian Rodriguez, Aaron Jeffrey, you know, those guys are just a few names who've come from TFFC to now to compete on the Contender Series in the UFC. So that's what I'm saying. The CFFC are producing, they are bringing in the best and brightest rising stars who are just on that touch and on that cusp um, of being UFC fighters, you know? So, folks, as we now wait and anticipation for Matty Byfield, yeah, folks, it's gonna be a great show. Matty Byfield is gonna come through. So yeah, man, you know, K3 Fight Championship is I think where you know real bright prospects land. And if you're on the cusp and you feel you're on the cusp of the UFC, of the Contender Series, that's where you want to be, man. You know, if you're interested in fighting for CFFC, just go on their website. Just go on the website, G. If you're a fighter, man, that's where you want to be. G. You know, there is no, you know, it's a relatively open process. If you want to fight, you come fight. Yeah. Um, I would say what we have in the regional scene is there are so many fighters out there, folks. So many fighters, big, small, in the middle, you know, all sizes and shapes. You know what I'm saying? There are so many fighters who really, I would say, want to make their name. People say they have that ambition, they have that drive to be in UFC, yeah, be a Bellator, be a PFL, one championship. But at the end of the day, yeah, there nothing's free. There is no such thing as a free lunch. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at that, um, when you look at the regional scene, whether you're in the States or in the Kingdom, here is you'll see a similar level of drive. You know, when a fighter gets the opportunity to fight in their regional scene, they're thinking, all right, cool, now is the start of my journey. And now I'm beginning my journey towards the UFC. Compared to guys who do actually just walk on, you know, to the UFC because of their reputations previously in their individual martial art. Yeah, there are guys who walk on. But I think it's always good to have that humbleness and humility of really knowing that you've come from the bottom and you've worked your way up. That I think is one of the best things you could ever do. You know. So, folks, I'm just gonna finish up the particulars. Yeah, folks. So we get Matty Byfield on the show. Stay tuned, folks. I'm not going anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and direct once again. Thank you. We're back, folks. Of course, we had to just finish up the particulars, folks. Of course, technicalities and technology can come in a way. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. So folks, if you're just joining me, thank you for joining me. Once again, this is episode 39 of MMA Reloaded Raw Talk. MMA Reloaded on the mic. Sorry, Real Talk, folks. We're coming up to our 60th episode. And shit, man, I need to count how many shows I've actually done. Dang. So, folks, if you just joined me, you know, it's live and direct. And we're live and direct for, you know, as we reach the final week before Cage Steel 26, I want you guys to know the magnificent athletes, the magnificent fighters that do compete, that are going to compete at Cage Steel 26. Of course, it's been a pleasure to sit with each and every single one of them, and develop friendship with them, as I like to do, you know, keep in touch and see what's up. So folks, and I want you guys to really become familiar with them as well, man, because there are so many standouts, so many young contenders, and it's sort of, you know, promotions like Cage Steel and Almighty FC really push you to watch amateur MMA as well. So it really pushes you to watch the amateurs as well as professionals. Yeah, because you actually see and you actually get an idea of how mature some of these young amateurs are. You know, whether they're 16, 17 years old, they don't really care. And it's just it's becoming somewhat of a mainstream attraction is amateur MMA. You know, so folks, I want you guys. So that's why I'm doing these shows, folks, representing Cage Steel, because, you know, to create that perception and to create that attraction to amateur MMA, to create the attraction to the great young standouts in the UK, you know, and to really just push what is a great promotion to be a part of. They put on great fights, great nights, man. Cage Steel 25, no fight went past a minute, man. Some of the fight, folks, were crazy, you know. At Cage Steel 25 the last time out, I don't know if whoever tuned into that, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Some of the fights were nuts. Yeah, great fights like Tom Crosby, Sean Lomas, and Carl Jones Jr. You know, that fight as well was crazy. Against Powell. So yeah, man, you know, some of these fights are actually nuts to watch, man. They're crazy to watch. So yeah, folks, you know, that is what you have to look forward to, and that's for sure. That is exactly what you have to look forward to as Cage Steel 26 rolls about this Saturday night. Yeah, the 21st of August, folks. 6 nights away. You know, when we talk about, when I always reach, and I always talk about and I always comment on regional promotions, I feel it's important. You know, I feel it's important to sort of, you know, fans who are only familiar with UFC or familiar with Bellator or PFL, or, you know, whatever you're familiar with. I want you guys to be familiar with where those fighters actually come from, and that's promotions like CFFC, promotions like Cage Steel Almighty, promotions like Titan, promotions like you know, TKO in Canada, wherever you're from. Yeah, that's where people really do their business from. Yeah, it's because it's, you know, that's how they made their name. That's how they start. And fighters that you know and love today came from those promotions. That's why I think noticing regional promotions, that's what really matters, man. That's what really matters is where you start from and where you are now. Why do people know your name? It's because they saw you fight in the UFC. But where were you before the UFC? Where were you before Bellator? You were at PFL. You were at Titan. I was training. There was a small ass promotion that took place in a nightclub in Florida or Vegas, something, and I was there before. You know, that is what really captivates fans and journalists and podcasters like me. Is I love to hear where people and how fighters really started off. So, folks, hopefully, Matty Byfield is coming through. And hopefully, folks, we can get a show on the road. Of course, he just finished up training, so I think he will be here soon, man. And I love to just come on the air and sort of, that's what coming on the air is all about, man. It's because you're just airing it all out. You're just airing it all out, man. That's what it's all about, you know. So hopefully, folks, Matty Byfield joins in. Yeah, folks, I know he just finished training, so it does take time to get home and stuff though. So, it's been great, folks, on the mic, on the camera, just talking with you guys. Folks, I will be going off the air, and next time I tune in, Matty Byfield will be here, folks, live and direct. So I'm not going anywhere, folks. I'm not going anywhere, yeah. I'm only gonna go on a quick interval, and we will be back, folks, with Matty Byfield.